If I were to describe Noel Perry in 3 words, I would say he's a man of imagination, compassion, and integrity.
If there were 3 words to describe Noel Perry, I think the first one I would use is steward. I would say that 3 times really, but that's not fair. I think that Noel is committed to not just this generation, but to future generations, and to certainly leaving the state as a whole in a better place than it was when he got here.
I was committed to starting a nonprofit called Next 10, which is about the intersection of the California economy, the environment, and climate change. And also it's about the California budget. So a little over 10 years ago, I wanted to start a nonprofit organization that could make a difference in the state of California by producing expert research that helped educate and engage Californians about some of the more important issues of the day. The goal of Backers is to take these issues and break them down so that regular Californians can understand them. And so in many ways we're a think tank, and what we do is commission expert research by academics and others across California and also in Washington, D.C. to give their analysis of important issues.
I think his general creativity, I would say, drives Next 10. I think that all of us at Next 10 are pretty creative, but I think that he's the most creative of us all. And so I think that definitely drives us. I think all of the work that we do, we want it to have a certain image, and that image is, I think, a very creative, illustrative image.
But it was Noel's vision one afternoon sitting in his office off of Sandhill Quadras, where he was saying, I have a vision of seeing children playing on the hill, and describe what those buildings would look like on that hilltop, and the opportunity for expanded growth from the wave up between the middle school years that are so fraught with anxiety and a sense of who am I and my place in the world. And Noel's deep understanding of the need to have a more diverse student population, to be able to have broader options academically, emotionally and socially, athletically, and in the arts. And so it was with that conviction that we must expand, and the opportunity to do so, and thinking of that place, that Noel brought that to the board and was really able to steward that, but also excite the board in a way to envision his vision of what this could do to transform school, to transform middle school education, and to really expand the opportunities for kids in very specific ways. The I-Labs, the innovation labs of introducing engineering with the D-School partnerships, the chance for electives in the middle school year in 7th and 8th grade to broaden the arts, a chance to bring steel drums, and a chance to have other electives in writing and in economics and debate. He also was passionate about expanding the athletic opportunities, believing in mind-body wellness, and thinking that that is so linked with social-emotional learning, of which he has a deep understanding and belief and embodies. I think Noel is prescient. He actually was involved in environmental education long before most of us as educators were, and recognizing the impact and importance. So his influence on our community had through the sustainable design of these buildings, which are LEED Gold. That was very much a push for Noel, and a belief that we needed to safeguard the environment, be respectful of it, and think about how to do that in terms of water conservation and green building design, and limit our use of energy. That was long before other schools were doing that in that role. That has continued to be the case, both as we have all become aware of the precious resources in the California area, and as Noel has really led that initiative for all of us in his work at Next 10.
My parents were very civic-minded, and along with that, I think, again, with a family of 6, we were inclusive, they were inclusive, so we always knew what they were doing, and in some cases were able to take part in that, like my father doing pancake breakfasts. My mother had for our whole life choral groups. She was a teacher, but for elementary school doing English, but she also had a degree in music. And to satisfy that for herself, she would have these choral groups, and I remember 5 of us at least sitting on the stairs, and we can still sing these songs to this day when we get together. So again, I think that we got that training. I can't say that I know exactly when Noel decided maybe that he was going to be interested in community that way, but I think that was just instilled in us, and I don't think that there is any other way to say that it just kind of happened. I am amazed at what Noel can do with his art. I can just about do stick people. So, so for me, to watch him with these creative processes that he has, it's just amazing.
I think that art has the power to transform lives, and I think we had an example up in Oakland. Mildred Howard was the inspiration for me, and let me say how she inspired me. Mildred Howard created the Day of the Dead project for the Oakland Museum of California, and this was over 10 years ago. And what Mildred did was she put on the wall in the Day of the Dead show a map of Oakland. And in that map, and on that map, were different tacks that indicated where over 110 homicides had occurred in Oakland. And most of the people that died were African American or Hispanic. And I was very moved by Mildred Howard's presentation, because where I come from, we don't have homicides like that. And I was really distraught and moved by what Mildred presented that day. There is no doubt that what Mildred created was inspirational for me, because that led me to go and create the 100 Families Oakland Project, which was an attempt to do intergenerational art in 4 areas of Oakland.
In developing the 100 Families program, I had the opportunity to work pretty closely with Noel, and Noel was the visionary behind the project. He was also the funder of the project. It was a great experience for me to work with someone who not only had a strong vision, but also had the means to realize the vision. It was also really exciting because he really understood the value of how making artwork can draw people together. So it not only brought families together, but it also brought a family together, it brought many families together. And it was a real support in the community. When we held the art making sessions, we provided dinner. We gave them all of the materials that they needed to make the artworks. And afterwards, they got to take them home.
Okay, if I were to describe Noel's leadership qualities, it is that as the consummate leader, he's at that level 5 leadership that everyone longs to be. He does it so naturally. It's with grace and humor and a self-effacing manner, always clear on the end goal and the ability to work backwards. He has the capacity to lead a boardroom both with strategy but also the practical, tactical implementation. He knows how to bring people who have disparate views together to find common ground, which is why I think the Next 10 is so brilliant that he's worked with, or his Oakland project. It's an extension of who Noel is and making a difference not only in our community at Nueva, but in the broader Bay Area in California.
The takeaway messages from 100 Families Oakland, for me personally, was that one person can make a difference. For the community, I think it was that they can set aside the drudgery and the pain in life and come together and celebrate through making of art. The making of art can heal their wounds and give them ways to communicate together that maybe they didn't have before. One of the messages that I took away from my work on the 100 Families Project is that one person can make a difference. In the case of this project, that person was Noel Perry. It never would have happened without him, and because of him, it happened in a way that couldn't have happened any other way.